Good morning, everyone. This is Sachin Gupta, and I work as a PM in eBay's payment organization. And my focus here is to enhance the buyer checkout experience. So, a quick background about me. Prior to eBay, my product journey spans over multiple industries, namely e-commerce, retail, financial services, venture capital, and automobile. And my education background is in engineering and management. So, as you all know, product manager is becoming an increasingly important role in all the software companies. Stripped down to its core, the role is about building and implementing the vision for the product success. It's the heart of a software business. But nevertheless, it's a tough job that requires broad mastery across several domains. Not only are you required to be a domain expert in the product that you will own, you also need to understand the industry within which you work. So, what to expect from today's presentation? I'll start by giving a brief overview of what it takes to be product manager and the research you need to do in your role. Then we'll go about finding a PM role that best suits your personality. And finally, I'll go in depth about the top three tech sectors where PM work in and what consideration and trends they should be aware of. So let's begin. So the first topic, why and what to research. So in an interview scenario, given a product manager interviews are very competitive. So it is critical for you to take the initiative to conduct a pre-interview research about the organization that you'll be interviewing for. Again, not only will you be making a stronger impression, but you also have the opportunity to determine if you truly want to spend the next few years of your life in this organization and within this particular industry. So now, assuming I've convinced you to research, so let's focus on what you need to do. So when preparing for a product manager interview, think in concentric circles, starting from the most central area of knowledge and work your way out. So four key things are the role and the product. Does it match your skill and personality? The second, the tech industry that this organization is in. Third is the competitors of this organization to help you understand the strength and weakness. And finally, the organization itself, their competencies, values, and culture. So now, rest of my presentation, I will focus primarily on the role and the product and the tech industry trends. So the next point is, what is the product fit? What is your product fit? So let's understand the different type of PMs and recognize which role aligns with your superpower. Also, this will help you understand the role better. So broadly, there are you can bucketize different PM roles in these 6 categories. Again, every person will have a different nomenclature, but more or less the understanding is the same. So the first is the growth product manager. It's also sometimes called e-commerce, marketing, performance, conversion product manager. And the job function, if you read through the job function, you will see that they're looking for a person who's responsible for optimizing conversion flows, for marketing landing pages, or pricing, and sometimes they're responsible for driving engagement and repeats. So the superpower that really goes well for this role is someone who's loved the chase of finding conversion and retention improvements. Again, you might have a marketer background and you love blending customer psychology with the behavioral change tactics. The second is the workflow product manager. It's sometimes called the SaaS product manager. And if I talk about the function, they're looking for someone who's responsible for building editing tools, dashboards, and tracking tools. And the superpower is someone who feels a detective at heart. They can study a customer's workflow and processes and find unique opportunities for improving it. And they like optimizing every interaction. The third is the community product manager. You will see it's also called social product manager. And the job function would be someone who's responsible for building the contributor side of the marketplace, driving social interactions in gaming app, or collaboration for enterprise SaaS. The superpower that any interviewer look for, or that you should be looking for, would be someone who if you understand the psychology behind user sharing and connecting with others, you love testing ways to drive engagement and deepen connections. The next is the platform product manager. It is also sometimes called the API product manager. The job function is someone who manages the development of external APIs and the developer platform. The superpower, again, in this case, would be someone who's amazing at building services that others, when I say others, I mean internal teams or external developers, want to use. Typically, there are more technical roles which require understanding of different building services and APIs. The next is the data or AI product manager. It's also called search, analytics, AI, ML product manager. And in the past, this role was commonly called search PM. The example job function that you'll see is so they're looking for someone who will be improving the search success metrics and time to conversion. And the superpower would be someone who's an expert between user needs and the problems. They like building algorithms and dream about AI ML models that can lead to automation. The final is the mobile product manager. It is also called native or apps product manager. The example job function would be they might be looking for someone to lead an iOS or Android native app teams. And the superpower would be someone who's an expert at unique mobile use cases. They have a passion for design and have a know-how about the product app store processes. So, so now that you have determined which type of role you best fit in and understand the job requirement. So in the final part of this presentation, let's understand a bit more about the tech industry trends. So I want to begin this topic by defining a tech company. So one definition is you are a technology company if you are in the business of selling technology. We can define a lot of technology companies by the products and services they sell. But by this definition, companies like Airbnb, Uber would not qualify. So maybe this definition is too narrow. So that's why for today's discussion, let's broaden this up by saying a tech company harnesses technology to create a competitive advantage. So even if you don't even have to sell technology directly, but if the contribution of technology to your business and your customers become an integral part of your operations, then you're a tech company that also happens to be in the X industry. So as you might know, the technology industry is by far the fastest growing in the world's economy. Research, new developments, innovation are taking place every day. And not just the fastest, the tech sector is also the highest spending. And this spending last year went up to whooping $8 trillion. This means this industry is spending more than the whole country's GDP in 1 year. But with the tech industry so large and diverse, have you ever wondered which sectors are the most successful? So based on a very recent report, the top three sectors are the on-demand, fintech, and the e-commerce. So let's talk about these three sectors, and I'll first give a definition, and then I'll focus on the top 6 trends on each one of them. So first is the on-demand. So on-demand essentially involves economic activities centered on online platforms where independent sellers are able to offer services and goods to customers. So whether you're looking to book a cab for your journey or want to instantly book an appointment for your salon, all you need to do is go through your mobile screens, open an app, and hire the same. Some of the prominent names, as you can see, are like DoorDash, Uber, Instacart, and so on. So let's now talk about trends and product considerations as a PM that you need to think of. So I will be only talking some of the 6 considerations. Again, there will be a lot, but this will give you a heads up of what trends that you should know. So first is the background checks. So with so many legal issues, like for example, with Uber, Lyft, you might have seen recently, we see an increased need for background checks. Again, this could be for women's safety perspective, or this could be also like if a person is capable enough or all those stuff. So that is one of the major part. Second is the more highly skilled positions. So if you think of companies, again, services like Uber and Airbnb, which are the most popular in this current on-demand economy. But as we expand to more industries, we are going to see an increased on-demand platform that need high-skilled workers. This is notable as more people start using on demand service apps within industries like healthcare and medicine. So, of course, users want to trust the skilled employees providing these services, and they want to know if they are generally qualified to do so. The third is the convenience. So, people prefer services that locate them easily, such as food delivery apps, to select an order immediately. The fourth is the cost efficiency. So, making sure the services and products meet the affordability of common people and become more popular. And also that you're offering trouble-free payment option. That's again a big part in on-demand. The fifth is the availability of services. So consumers prefer to get these services within their reach, such as the grocery marketplace. That could be easily accessed and could offer multiple items at a go. The sixth is the time punctuality. So someone like will be a customer will be looking for quick and quality service. Is definitely, and again, this is definitely one of the major factor to win the trust of people generally. The second sector would be the fintech. So fintech now describes a variety of financial activities such as money transfers, depositing a check with your smartphone, bypassing a bank branch to apply for credit, raising money for a business startup, or managing your investments, generally without assistance of a person. So, despite being a relatively young industry in terms of time, modern fintech is an independent field with its own trend and regulations. Some of the prominent names we can think of is the PayPal, Venmo, Square, Robinhood, Coinbase, etc. So, moving on to the product considerations, again, that you need to think of as a PM. First is you know your customer. So, to succeed in the fintech, you require a laser focus on the particular subset of customers. There could be a variety of segmentation. It could be based on the credit score, for example, where you uniquely target prime or subprime customers to easily A/B test product features and marketing. It could be based upon the income and financial attributes. The key idea here is that not all consumers have the same financial pain points. So user needs, wants, and attitudes towards money are driven by the past and the present, and their current means and their financial history. It could be based on the age. For example, if you're focusing on people who are like above the age of 50, they were earlier they are still reluctant to use the devices for their financial tasks. So how do you build for them? Or maybe if you're targeting towards the millennials or Gen Zs, they have grown up with fintech, using fintech products. So then how do you position within that segment? So the next is the risk management. Uh, Again, this is a very unique, especially in the fintech. So you need to think of, you need to be more proactive than reactive, and you need to avoid loopholes by building advanced algorithms to assess the credit profiles. The mixture of artificial intelligence, machine learning could also provide multiple benefits here. The third is the regulations. As you know, if we are talking about fintech, so nothing ends like it had. There has to be some regulations part. So might and you also being a PM, you also have to think that there might not have been some regulations which are already there, but you need to consider what or build mechanism for future needs. The fourth is the contactless payments, especially in this pandemic in 2020. There's definitely created a need for a robust contactless solutions. Social distancing measures such due to coronavirus have conditioned many people to limit face-to-face transactions, and it is here to stay. The fifth one is the blockchain. The move towards blockchain use in financial institutions have been a little slow, but is still an important fintech trend. So organizations will turn to blockchain to decrease fraud and manage both regulatory and audit concerns. Sixth is the consumer perceptions. For one, due to COVID, many people are experiencing considerable financial upheaval right now. So how can you help consumers budget, or is there a way to offer aid or relief programs? Um, then the third industry that I want to focus is the e-commerce. So e-commerce is often used to refer the sale of physical products online, but it can also describe any kind of commercial transaction that is facilitated through the internet. So in e-commerce companies, a product manager could be responsible for an entire system, such as the mobile app, or a part of the system, such as the checkout flow on an online store across all the devices. Some prominent names that I can see is eBay, Amazon, Alibaba, JD, Rakuten, etc. So the final segment on this is would be what are the product considerations as a PM that you need to think of. The first is the building a cohesive ecosystem where you are providing access to financial resources like in-app financing options. If you are selling high-price items like jewelry and furniture, you also need to think of the providing a contextual commerce. Can you help consumers buy as they go? The second is the prioritize accessibility. The landmark decision, the recent, not the recent, I forgot the year, but the Supreme Court decision to provide accessibility to all the people. Any company with physical location must make their website and online platform accessible. So we need to think of that perspective as well. The third is the default to international markets. International markets are growing at a crazy pace, with projections that cross-border purchases will account for fifth of the worldwide e-commerce by 2022. So we need to think of how do we make sure that any product that we're building, if it involves money movement, for example, how can we support multi-currency? If how like in general, how do we support different languages? How do we charge taxes? So these are things that we need to think of. Fourth is the customer conversation. Sorry, the path to conversion is not about clicks, but about conversation. So you might have heard this term called conversational marketing. So which basically means that the consumers demand immediate responses when they are doing research on products and its services. That's why real-time connection play an important role. And for if it's applicable to you, for example, you might have to build a chatbot and then provide the services as the based on the questions or the answers the customer is looking for. The fifth is the voice and image search. So making a purchase is easy when all a customer has to do is speak to an app. Now that we have technology is beginning to match customer expectations, more people will expect e-commerce applications to utilize it. Same with image search. So as the name implies, this e-commerce solution allows customer to search for products by images, which can be helpful when they aren't sure how to describe what they're looking for in words. The sixth is the personalization. This probably spans across almost all the industries at this point of time, but from e-commerce perspective, consumers are far more likely to engage with a brand that offers personalized experiences as compared to generic ones. So personalization is the key in e-commerce to build loyalty and reduce churn. So with that being said, thank you for listening, and I hope this was helpful. If you have any further questions or if you like this presentation and you want to reach out, here's my LinkedIn account. You can find me there. Thank you.